My next championship edition, who would you rather have, is the '07 Spurs versus the '04 Pistons. In today's league, which team would you rather have on their respective coast? So the Spurs in the West, the Pistons on the East. Who makes a run to the championship and wins it? We're gonna start with you, Lo.
The Spurs. What? that 04 Pistons team is too archaic offensively for that to work. It's just way too archaic offensively. So no, the Spurs are in a better situation.
No, Lo, you got to give us more than archaic. That ain't enough, man. No, because what you telling me is that this, yeah, because I'm looking at this the Detroit team. Everybody said that the Lakers was going to mop them because they played fast, because they had talent, and they basically served the Lakers in five.
Well, he said in today's game.
So in today's game, a Detroit Piston team, they couldn't play. Their offense is basically archaic today, is what you're telling me.
Yeah,
because they don't.
I mean, both. To be fair, both of them are, but the Spurs just have way more options to be a bit more fluid in today's game offensively in 07. Like the personnel that they have on the roster is a bit more compatible with today's game and the way that players are being defended. But you just can't have players like having somebody like Ben Wallace on the floor.
Come on, don't do that.
Crazy.
Here we go. Hey, don't do
that. Nah. See what you doing now is you killing your whole argument, because like they said the same thing, like you said, against the Lakers. The Lakers was more high power offensively, even though the Spurs had a better you could say offensive options all around. The Lakers were a better offensive team than the Spurs. And Detroit shut them down completely. Shut them down. So when we talk about the Detroit Pistons team, I'm rolling with that 04 team, because that 04 team was something that was unheard of. And then don't forget, in the finals, Big Ben was getting buckets in the finals in that series. He averaged a double-double, I think. So he did enough. Then when you look at Chauncey could go off and give you 25 if he needed to in any certain game. Rip could give you 20, 25. Tayshaun Prince give you 17, 18. And then they had, who else they had on that team? They had
Tayshaun Prince in 04 is not giving you 20 to 25.
Bro, I didn't say
he said 17.
See, don't put words in my mouth.
He's not giving you 17 in 04. What are you talking? It's 04.
I said
it's 04.
Night, he can give you that, bro. Stop acting like Tayshaun Prince can't give you 17.
Not in 04. That's a sophomore year. It's a sophomore year.
He could, bro. What was his high that season?
He was averaging like 10 points that year.
No, I said his high.
Oh my gosh.
I'm telling you, on any given night, those guys could give you those numbers. I didn't say every night, Lo. I said on any given night. That's true. Because on that Pistons team, it wasn't always the same person every night. One night it might have been Chauncey. One night it might have been Rip. One night it might have been Tayshaun that had the upper hand. It wasn't one dude that was just carrying the offense and everybody else fell in line like it is on the other team. So cut it out, man.
He had 7 games the entire season where he was able to produce more than 17 points.
Okay, right. But guess what? That was because look at the situation his team had. They had balanced scoring on the team. So even though they didn't score a lot, they had balanced scoring, and they had one of the greatest defenses in the history of the NBA.
I got to go with the Spurs. Even though what Lo was talking about, I got to go with the Spurs because number one, they beat them the next year in 05, that 04 team. The Spurs dropped them in the finals.
That's a different year, though. Year to year is different.
Well, they basically brought back not only did they bring back the same unit, not only did Detroit bring back the same unit and was better, what we can't forget, ticket. What we can't forget is that was a ticket.
You know basketball, bro.
Right? I do.
Every year, it don't matter if you bring back the same team, bro.
Right.
It matters where those dudes at in their career.
Right.
If you older and longer in the tooth, you might not be the same as you was the year before. I'm gonna give you a perfect example. Look at Kendrick Nunn right now. He's 3rd year in the league. This man look completely different than we look like the last 2 years.
No, we're not doing
that.
He missed a year from injury.
These guys just. I'm giving you
that example is a bad one to use.
I'm giving you an example of how from year to year a player can fall off depending on the team, the situation, everything. Yep.
Now here's the thing, ticket.
Only a chosen few are consistent every single year, and then once you start getting older, bro, look at Chris Paul right now. Look at the fall off, bro. They're getting older. That Pistons team, that wasn't no young team.
No, it wasn't a young team. However,
them guys
they were all like around their prime.
What are we talking about?
That's what I was getting. Well, that's what I was getting to. So when we talk about that Detroit Pistons team, number one, they were in the middle of it. And just so you know, Ticket, in 2004, when they went to the Eastern Conference Championship, they go to the Eastern Conference Championship 3 more years in a row.
I know
that's
that.
how good. That's how good they were. Add that to the fact that 05 Pistons team. I mean, they took them to 7 games, and it was in a dogfight. Now you fast forward,
they lost the series,
right? So that was so when we talk about that Detroit Pistons team, they were very similar, and they very well could have won the NBA championship. Nobody really fell off. If anything, Tayshaun Prince got better. She got better. Add that to the fact that this 05 team, that 07 team, Tony Parker was better in 07.
Way better.
Okay,
Tony Parker.
ESPN chill.
Oh my God.
You ethering yourself, dog. Why are you ethering yourself? Because that Pistons team was so good, it came down to 1 possession when they lost the next year. So they would have beat them had it not been for that 1 possession where Rasheed made the mistake. That was 1 possession that lost that series.
And now we're talking about a better version of Manu Ginobili and Tony Parker in 07.
Listen, I'm telling you that I think the 04 team, the year before that, I think that team, it wouldn't even have went 7 with the Spurs that next year. Because I think that team was better than the team that was the next year, bro.
I don't see how a team just drops off by that far of a margin. The team went to a game 7. The team went to a game 7 with the San Antonio.
It was a 1 possession game, and it was a 1 possession game.
Were better than the first year. That's what everybody say. They still had Bron. They still had D Wade. They still had Chris Bosh. But everybody say, yo, that Heat team the second year was better than the first year, but they still had their main core guys.
Right.
But teams, it varies from year to year. They wasn't the same caliber of team they was the first year, they was the second year. I'm saying that about the Detroit Pistons.
Well, the problem that you having with your go ahead, I'm sorry, go ahead. And the problem with that logic is it's backwards. And the reason why it's backwards because
but I'm telling you, it can be that way, bro.
It may be, but that's not the case because that Miami Heat team, they were better the next year in 12. And in fact, they were better the next year in 13. So they got better each year. Add that. So we get back to the Detroit Pistons.
They didn't get better. They got worse. They won the back-to-back, but they barely won that back-to-back.
They barely won that back-to-back. You're talking about that third.
Remember, Pop handed them the series. Let's keep it 100 now. When he took Tim Duncan out, that's how close them series were. So don't say they were just getting better.
He took Tim Duncan out because Tim Duncan, they had the lead. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
It's free throws. That has something to do with bad coaching. Pop, take your big man out. Can't get a rebound down the stretch. Bosh gets it, kicks it. Rest is history. Cut it out, bro. All this stuff we talking about is minuscule.
What are you talking about? In 2012, they were 46-20, and then in 2013, they broke the record.
28 straight, dog. 28 straight.
28 straight. So they were definitely a better team.
How many years were they together that time? That was the third year you said?
That was the third year.
That was the year they won the back-to-back, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so you think the second year of the back-to-back they were better than that first year?
Yes, I do. 100%. I do believe that. No doubt about that.
Especially because LeBron was peaking that year too. Yes.
And that's the same logic that I'm bringing with the 07 Spurs. They were better. That 05 team that beat the Pistons, that defending champion Pistons, that 07 team was better than them. Tony Parker was better. They had Michael Finley. They had Bruce Bowen. Those guys were better than what they were in 05 than what they were in 07.
I'd have put all the money I got to my savings that 04 Piston team beat that Spurs team, bro. That 04 Piston team was different, bro.
They were different.
Bro.
They were different.
That was a different team, man. Bro, Debo, Big Ben Wallace controlled the league, man. He controlled the league, dog.
We're talking about in today's era,
defensively, he controlled the. Come on, this is facts. He won
we were talking about in today's era, though. We're not talking about back
He's
then.
comparing them to that Spurs team.
I know, but we're talking about which team in today's era, not which team in the 2000s would be more dominant.
I thought he asked which team. I'm saying that I'm taking the 04 Pistons team, and I'm telling you why I thought they were better
in today's era.
No, it's today, Ticket. If you
listen, I don't care if it's tomorrow. I don't care if it's next year. I don't care if it's next goddamn century. Ain't nobody in the league playing defense like them dudes playing right now. Like them dudes playing then. Ain't nobody in the league playing defense like that now.
San Antonio did have. I think San Antonio had the second best defense in the game.
I was about to say,
just so you know, San Antonio had. I think they had the second. I think they had the second best. It was the number one and the number two. It was the number one and the number two. It was the number one, if I'm not mistaken, Lo. I think it was the. And I don't know this for a fact. Maybe you can look it up. I think it was the number one and the number two defense in the league playing in the NBA Finals. I don't think we've had that.
Okay, so watch this. If Ben Wallace was in his prime playing in this era, the same Ben Wallace that was in 04, bro, the man averaged him at 18, 19 rebounds, bro. That Rudy Gobert stuff averaging 15, that's child's play to him, bro. These
what
big
does
men
that have to do with them being better than
Duncan? And then hold on, let's go down the list. Rasheed Wallace in this game, stretch the floor, hit threes. Are y'all out your damn mind? Chauncey Billups, Mr. Big Shot, hit three, pull up in this game. But now you ain't shooting 3 threes a game. You shoot 6, 7, 8. Man, cut it out, man. I'm glad
you mentioned. I'm glad.
Better than Tony Parker nor Manu Ginobili at their prime in today's era.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Lo.
I'm just saying it's not everything you're saying is fine. But none of that is better than Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili in today's game. It's just not.
Well, not only that, but you're talking about Rasheed Wallace being able to stretch the floor. Tim Duncan had a money mid-range. Tim Duncan had a money mid-range game. That's number one.
Big Shot Billups. You don't think Mr. Big Shot himself in this era, shooting threes would have been better than what Tony Parker was? Tony Parker.
Just so you know, during that time, that was it. And if I'm not mistaken, during that time, it was still a big man's game. Tony Parker led the league in points in the paint for guards. So this game, we're talking about a game. So we talking about a game that's either played at the long ball line, or we talking about
today's game is predicated off what? The 3 ball.
Right.
Okay, ESPN chill. Now let's get it right.
Not only that, but
today's game is predicated off the 3 ball. Who shot the 3 ball? Who was more prolific shooting the 3 ball? Whose game would have edged more in this era?
Manu Ginobili.
Not only Manu Ginobili, but if I'm not mistaken, I mean Bruce Bowen, he was the best corner 3-point shooter in the game during that time. It wasn't like Bruce Bowen wasn't stretching the defense. Tim Duncan canceled out whatever Rasheed Wallace is doing because he had a money mid-range game.
I can cancel that. Like I said, they had Rasheed Wallace on that team.
Right.
Wasn't Antonio McDyess on that team too? Or was he on the next year?
No, he was on that crew.
You sure?
Yeah, he was on that crew in the 04 when they lost to the Spurs. I think he was on that crew.
Another big stretch the floor. So I got all kind of bigs that can stretch the floor and shoot, play in this era. Rasheed,
McDyess was not on the team.
He was on
2005.
With Rasheed on this era, Rasheed Wallace, the original big man outside of Uncle Cliffy. And you know this, Chill Town, so stop capping, bro.
I'm not capping.
The more I look at it, the more it's just obvious the 07 Spurs. That's a crazy part.
And to bring some things into perspective.
What is this game? Hold on, time out. Watch this. What is this game predicated on today? Game is predicated off what?
Shooting the long ball.
Drive and kick, right?
Yeah, shooting the long ball and getting to the basket.
You got a point guard that he shoot the hell out the 3 ball in Chauncey. Prolific. You got your center, your big man, your center is probably one of the best, if not the best, big 3-man shooter in the game at that time. Fact or fiction?
She could crack it. She could crack it.
He was not the best though. No, he wasn't.
Who was a better 3-point shooter
than
Rasheed Wallace?
Dirk.
Okay, time out. Okay, I said center. Dirk didn't play center.
Rasheed wasn't a center. He was forward. He's power forward.
He was playing the center.
No, Ben Wallace played the 5.
Dirk played the 5 and 04. Dirk played the 5 and 04.
I'm about to say Dirk is playing the 5 and 04.
Bro, okay, so time out. Okay, hold on. All right, let's play your little game here, Lo. Dirk and then who? Rasheed. Okay, then.
Where was Rashard Lewis at that point?
He won in front of Rasheed Wallace.
Oh,
bro, you know what Rasheed Wallace was coming from Portland?
Bro,
Rasheed was doing?
Rashard.
No, we're just talking about shooting the ball.
We're just talking about strictly shooting the ball. Rashard Lewis is better than him as well.
If you put Rasheed Wallace in this era, bro.
Nobody's not arguing that, but he was not the best.
Okay,
he wasn't even top 3. He was not.
This is what I'm saying to you, though. Listen to what I'm saying, because I'm about to stretch you out real quick. No homo. Watch this.
That was crazy.
Watch this right here. If you put Rasheed Wallace in this era, right, his average go from being 17, 18 to like 24, 25. You know why?
Even if.
No, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. I ain't finished.
Keep going, Ticket. Keep going. We listening. Keep going, Ticket. Keep going.
So then you put a big shot, Chauncey Billups. his average go from 18, 19 to around 23, 24, right?
Never
now,
his life. But
let's take the carbon copy of what DeMar DeRozan is doing, and let's talk about Rip Hamilton.
Right.
Now, hold on. What's DeMar DeRozan been averaging the last 3-4 years in the league? DeMar DeRozan was in the MVP conversation last year, playing the mid-range. Stop playing with me, boy.
That is the dumbest argument I've heard.
If that's
it's the player choice way. Yeah, them boys don't get it started. The player choice way. You're the player choice way. Come and switch lanes into the player choice way.